I'm here.
All right, guys. Tony is going to be joining me today for the stream. He'll be, well, we'll have a dialogue, and also you can ask any questions you want. And if it's a question that we can't answer or want to answer, we will answer it. You got to do with Dual Universe, got to do with us leaving DSI, etc. Unfortunately, in the last 3 days, there have been a lot of lies that have been spreading around the community about us, coming from DSI members. So there was no point trying to counter every single lie that was made, but we'll just address everything here and be done with the matter once and forever, because there's not much else to be said. So we're gonna do it like... Yeah, we're not gonna play PUBG or... Well, we might play PUBG at Warzone maybe next week. Big. But anyways, we have our own schedule. We have our own short list of things we want to cover, but we're also going to be taking in questions as we talk about certain things. And I'm inviting DSI members as well to come in. Ooh, Thor with 25 months. Thank you very much, Thor. Yeah, over 2 years. Oops.
No, for over 2 years. Greets to the best streamer in the universe from Hamburg.
Thank you. Thank you, Thor. Alright. Can you address any lies? Yes, I will. I'll address all the lies because, well, we want you to know that they're lies. At least you can listen to our side of the story and then try to figure out what's more likely to be true. We're not here to say the absolute truth because no one knows what the no one can 100% guarantee that they know the absolute truth, but you can at least hear our side. What's your plan in DSI? Yeah. So, go ahead.
I'm just on that. Yeah, we could just tell what happened from our point of view, and people can have different points of view. Some of the stuff boils down to, you know, how you want to look at it, and so it's not like any one thing is all false. You know, just some stuff is kind of how you look at it, and with only one point of view, you can't really form a full educated conclusion on what's going on. So at least this way we can get the second point of view, and then people can make up their own minds.
Alright, I might turn it up a little bit, 1 sec. Music is a bit too high. Alright. Alright, how are the levels now? Tony, say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
What do you say, chat? Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
Tony's gonna get really loud. I'm gonna have to turn it down when he gets heated up.
I get too turned up.
No, it's good. Anyways, Tony, let me just send you what I wrote, but it's freaking long and you're gonna hate me. Just some notes stuff that we want to go over.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, but it's not all. I only got to like a half, and then I ran out of time. We had to go. People asked about Thormian already. Like, we don't care about that, transparent. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I don't know anything about it, and I don't care anything about it. That was none of my business in DSI, so there's nothing I can answer there. And even if I knew about it, I wouldn't share with the public. So I'm not here to cause drama. I'm not here to damage DSI. I'm just here to defend my name and everyone else that is involved in all of this, because people need to know certain things. And we were forced. Okay, we didn't want to do this stream, but when someone is constantly telling lies about you, well, you have to sometimes address them to show to people that they shouldn't just listen to random people on the internet making up stuff. You know, if there's actual proof to put them down, well, then you should take that into consideration too. Anyways, we should start. Let's start about how we even started playing, Tony. How did you start playing Dual Universe?
Dual Universe. I was an alpha backer. This is my kind of game. I played Eve, I played Space Engineers, I played Satisfactory. It's kind of got elements of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Played about a week or two into beta solo. I didn't play much of alpha. It was just really laggy and buggy, so I kind of skipped until beta.
Okay.
And a couple weeks solo. Then I kind of quickly realized that you have to be in an org to play this game, and so started looking around. I saw you guys streaming from DSI, and I was like, oh, DSI looks pretty cool and welcoming to noobs like me.
Mm-hmm.
And the vet thing, vet community, I was like, oh heck yeah, because
well, when you joined DSI, had a lot of vets, right? Maybe most people were vets.
Yeah, and I'm for people who don't know, I'm a U.S. Air Force vet, so
yeah.
So that was kind of a big draw to me too, but yeah, it's it's kind of how I got into it. And
I guess
DSI.
we joined at right about the same time. Maybe I joined like a week before you, or in total, or something like that. And well, how we met each other was I was building my own factory, and I kind of got introduced to you through a common friend or just someone that said, this Tony guy, he's interested in industry. Maybe you should take him in and like try to work industry with him, because at the time I had no assignments in DSI. I was just a random guy. I joined DSI and I made a lot of videos, not a lot, like made like 2-3 videos and some streams promoting DSI, etc. People were coming in. I don't know, maybe even you came in through one of the streams or something, Tony. I'm not sure, but I don't know what you said.
It was videos.
Okay, and DSI had me, it's had Devil Dog Gamer promoting DSI, etc. Even though, like, why would I promote an org that I just joined? But I was like, why not? The more, the better. And at the time, I had no assignments, and I looked at DSI as something like, wow, they're so organized. They have like a big industry on Mattis. One sec. It's Brahms. We'll get to that, man. That's exactly why we're doing this. So yeah.
Yeah.
I was just doing my thing on the side, trying to learn the game, and I was really interested in industry because I saw the potential in, you have a big industry, you can do so much with it, and you don't have to depend on other people. And then I've built a factory. I don't know how big was the factory when you joined me, Tony?
What I think the first floor was mostly laid out, but not really ready to produce much. The second floor was getting there, and then you tasked me with doing the third floor. I don't think there was any assembly lines yet, maybe just a couple to make stuff you needed.
Yeah. But compared to the main factory at that point, where would you put it? When you just before you joined building the factory, like my factory, helping me out.
I mean, if the factory that we're at right now is a 10,
okay,
then where you were when I joined you was maybe like a 2, like
okay,
a 1.5.
Okay, but what about the old factory, like on Mattis at that point? That's what I'm trying to. Maybe it had more tier 1, but less other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we could put it that way. So it was maybe a little bit smaller than DSI's own factory, like the one that was supplying like 300 members, right?
Yeah.
Still a little bit smaller, but Tony and I then got invited to do a project for DSI, and we would go on Simeon and move. They asked me if I wanted to move my factory to Simeon and like give it to DSI and work with DSI on it. I was like, yeah, sure, sounds fun. I mean, I don't want to single play this game. I want to play it in an org. So I gave my factory, we disassembled it, we blueprinted it, we went to Simeon, and on Simeon we deployed it. And from there on, it was just like non-stop growing. We were playing 14 hours a day, just literally. Tony and I were literally only doing industry. We had some new guys joining in, some the people that knew me joining in. They're all mining. I don't know how many people we had actively playing outside of the PvP guys that kind of got us there. We had about maybe 10 people total, right, Tony?
Roughly, yeah. There was maybe a few less at first, but then it kind of grew a bit.
Let's say 7 or 8 people total that were really active and doing the Simeon thing. And like, since we continued the project that Tony and I already started on Mattis and moved it, that thing became bigger than the main industry on Mattis within 2 days. And the next, I guess the project lasted, what, 3 weeks? Something like that?
Roughly.
Yeah, in those 3 weeks, we got from it's about the same as the factory on Mattis to about 4 times bigger when it comes to throughput. 3 to 4 times bigger overall. And you can even go now to that factory and it's still like much bigger. Point being, we kind of made a new DSI main factory, but the leadership wasn't really aware what was going on because it was a really lackluster project when we look back a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't think that was the intent either.
That wasn't the intent, no.
Yeah, we just were putting in so much time and energy, it just kind of, by default, kind of just turned into...
Yeah, because all the ops people that were really good at that time, except a few exceptions, you know, like Hackman and some other people, they were all in that project. And the funny part is, they were all contributing to this. 1, 2, there we go. My PC shut down, guys. My bad. The gaming PC, I don't know what happened. It just literally shut down. Anyways, we're good. Tony, can you say 1, 2?
1, 2.
All right, we're good. Anyways, we were saying,
so yeah,
all of these people were contributing. Everyone was contributing to DSI under a promise that at some point there would be a system that they could use to get those contributions back in some form, like items, you know, engines, fuel, this and that. So everyone was contributing, and it was said that in the coming months or weeks or whatever, everyone will be able to get their points back in a way, like get their contributions back through the requisition system. So that was in the works, but up until then, everyone was just, you know, I give in 1 million hematite, I get nothing back, but I'll get it back someday. Which was okay, but we knew that we couldn't support, with the current industry, we couldn't support that. And on Simeon, maybe the first time we were able to support that, but we still didn't have a system in place to do that. So that was something we were working on. And also, the PvP, let me just get the notes out. 1 sec. The PvP guys had to do a lot of the mining and manufacturing themselves, because the factory that DSI was owning was relatively small at the time. So it is true that PvP guys for the first 2 months, for the most part, had to build ships by themselves and supply a lot of stuff themselves. But then again, you know, it wasn't all that much resources in DSI's army. It was, I don't know, 5-6 ships for the most part, and then, I don't know, around 5-6 ships is what they kept, because no org has that many people to even support that. So props to the PvP guys for sticking, you know, hanging in there and doing that stuff themselves. But then Simeon came in and we could actually supply some stuff for the PvP guys. And that was kind of the point of the factory. Once we realized that we could support PvP guys, we started making stuff for them. I don't know, we were making like 6L missiles at a time at some point, right? We were
making 5 or 6 of every large, besides cannons, because they really didn't want to use cannons.
By the way, I'm gonna ban Steel because he's an idiot, so I'm not even gonna let him talk. We were making a lot of stuff for the PP guys. Unfortunately, and that is unfortunately, we got an insider, which was, well, it was just a combination of all kinds of things happening. We got an insider, and the factory was gone. He stole at least 2/3 of the factory. Yeah, Obelix. I'm not afraid of banning people right now that shouldn't be here. Some people just don't deserve to talk in this chat anymore. It's just how it is. And they definitely know why, so it's very much the right thing to do. Anyways, but the point of the Simian factory was to support the PP guys, and we did support him, and we do even have a list of the items that we did deliver on Simian in those 2 days that we were delivering PvP parts. We were basically pumping out that M core. You saw the M core that I was flying the other day. We were pumping out an M core per day. Unfortunately, we didn't get to deliver more than like one of those, maybe, Tony? I can't even remember, but there's a list. The list itself doesn't matter. We had every single item that was given to PvP on a list, so we could just keep track of how much we're outputting from the factory. But that was the whole point, and unfortunately it failed. We had the theft. A lot of people wanted to quit, but I was like, guys, listen, I know that it was our work stolen that we were working on for like a month at least, and it's just a month. It's just a month of gameplay. We can come back, and we did. We did come back, but we had a big argument within DSI. Who was the guy who stole? It was Viff Revert, something like that. That was the guy that was boasting on Reddit. If you remember the big theft 2 months ago or having months ago, it was
okay.
Could
show him the tile.
the
tile next to us.
Oh, the tile next to us. Yeah. Okay, this guy. This is the name. Yeah. What org? I don't know what org. He's some random org. It's just a bunch of friends. I don't think they were affiliated with anyone in specific. They were just inciting different orgs, and in our org, they found a good way to do a lot of damage.
I think it's important to point out too that he joined with the specific intent of doing that. Like he posted that online. It's like, yeah, this was like a whole planned out thing.
Yeah. So it was all planned out that they were playing that way since the Eve days. So it was allowed by NQ, and there was nothing we can do about it. We said, it's not fair. The RDMS system is good, but it was our fault. We didn't pay enough attention to that, and no one ever came in to check up on what's going on in that sub-org. No one really cared enough about that project, and the leaders weren't aware enough and weren't checking in as they probably should have been. But okay, we're not discussing Simian here. It's just important for the context. So we lost that factory. And, what happened straight after that? Well, it was a lot of pointing fingers, and a lot of people pointed a finger at me because I was the only one still active in that sub-org playing there on Simian, while everyone else that was in charge, even my superiors in that sub-org, were like, yeah, I mean, it is our fault, but Spreezy, you were there, you took that guy in. Well, I took that guy in because I was told to take one of the new guys in. Up until then, I only took 100% trusted people that I trust even today in. So it happened. A lot of people were mad about me staying in DSI and still doing stuff. Peak, thank you for 25 months. But it is what it is. So Tony, what was the point of contention after that? After the Simian thing, once we wanted to, there was a big argument and conflict after that. What was that about?
There was a lot of finger pointing, and people were because they didn't really know what was going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
They were calling us incompetent and and just waste of time and all this stuff. And then there was also an issue with, since we all kind of worked together exclusively, and since that project was kind of kept a secret, and we were all in our own channel during the duration of the 3 weeks.
Yeah.
When we integrated back in, came back to Mattis, we would still kind of only hang out in our own, not in our own channels, but in a channel together, kind of not really fully meshing back in with the general population. So that was kind of a problem, and some of us were getting pretty upset that some people were calling us a clique and stuff like that.
Oh, but that wasn't just the issue. Like, I've been personally called out and offended by various DSI members that I'm incompetent, that I'm a thief, that I planned this, that this and that, and it was very unpleasant. And I even spoke to Firestorm and Euthermial about it, but they were like, that's how we talk in the military. That's something that we'll talk about later. They want to treat this game and their org as they're in the military, and well, I can guarantee you that people don't talk like that in the military in the first place. And second, this is a game and we're here to enjoy. I'm not gonna listen to someone cursing at me, insulting me in my face in front of 10, 20 people, like a few days in a row, and not get that guy punished in some way. And they let all of that happen. But I'm not that easy to break. I'm like, all right, I'll show these guys how competent I am by doing stuff and not telling them that I'm competent. So I shut my mouth and I like swallowed some stuff that I probably shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, we wanted to move on. We wanted to build a better DSI. I wanted to show them what we accomplished on Simeon can be accomplished on Mattis. We went back to Mattis. Mind you, none of the leaders helped us go back to Mattis, except Dark, who was a new join coming in from 10, the Eldritch Nation. He was the one with, I think D-Tom Bader helped out too, to organize the transport ship that Hyperion had, because we had no big ship to transport with. Our biggest ship at that point were the ships that we built to transport the Simeon, and then we disassembled them. So our biggest ship at that point was like 6 containers big. 6 containers. So we needed help for someone else, and that was Hyperion, and they brought us whatever was left of us back, and thanks to Dark, who literally joined like a few days back, and there was a merge between DSI and 10. We kind of executed that, and that was good. And then we came back, and now it's a mess of like, what do we do now? What do we do now? We know that things weren't going well with the Mattis industry, because it was literally the same thing. I don't think they added like total of 20 industry units from since we left to when we came back. And even today, the factory is almost the same. Like today, that's 2 months later. That factory is within like 30% of what it was when we left Simeon, which was seems like a lifetime ago at this point. I'm just trying to recollect all the stuff that happened, but basically we got in a big dilemma where we basically didn't even want to play for DSI anymore, because things weren't going great. And I said that I'm probably going to leave due to all these people insulting me, not letting me do my job. And I also didn't know what my job was anymore, because I was like, guys, there's no one really interested in DSI to take over the project. The 2 leaders, Firestorm and Euthermial, they have real life, they have jobs, they have, kids, whatever. They don't have time for this. They don't have time to run all of this. So they don't even play the game. Firestone plays a little bit, but that's far from enough for that a leader would need to play to be able to know everything that is going on. And they never even came to Simeon. 3.5 weeks of Simeon. No one came there from the leadership to check in. Like, what's going on? How you guys doing? Even though we're playing 14 hours a day, we're sitting in a channel 14 hours a day. No one ever came in. And
that's nothing really against them either, like having a life and stuff, but
that's fine. It's completely fine.
The biggest issue when we were at Simeon and then the immediate days following, up until some changes happened, was that all these decisions were being made by people who are like how do I mine again?
Yeah,
How do I fly a ship again?
yeah.
And it's it wasn't boding well.
The problem was all the decisions had to go to through two people that, first of all, were hard to get to because they had a lot of stuff that they were doing in real life, so they weren't playing that much. They were trying to do the admin stuff, but it was a little bit too much for them. Not a little bit, it was way too much for them. And also, they didn't want to delegate any responsibilities. We had two governors, UN, who literally quit the game. Since then, he hasn't played for more than a few hours, except on his own project. He went to do something else, but he was like, "Yeah, guys, I just can't handle this anymore," and he just went away. The problem with that guy was, UN is a great guy, but he was just mostly ignored by the other players, even though he was highly ranked, and his opinions were like pushed back and just not respected that well in general, I would say. And that's one of the reasons why he quit, even though he kept playing. Second thing, we had D. Tom Bader. He was the second governor. I'll show you what a governor is, by the way. There's a public document that I've written and people have curated. He was mostly AFK due to also real life stuff, and he couldn't play. So we had two leaders that cannot play. We had two governors for dual universe that don't play, and there's no one else. So who's going to make decisions? And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to waste time here. There's a lot of people that are really willing to do good stuff for DSI. A lot of people, but they can't, because every decision, everything has to go through the two leaders, and it takes so long, and then they say no to something that should have obviously been yes, just because they have no info on the matter, and they cannot invest the time to investigate what they would have to, like, they just didn't have the know-how in those situations to even make decisions. They didn't have the info, but they still wanted to make all of those decisions. And at some point I said, look guys, if you don't give me some sort of role where I could be a little bit more autonomous, I'm just going to leave, because it's a waste of my time. You're limiting me and everyone else that wants to contribute to this org. And yeah.
I just want to say on that end, like, people were, saying that, like, you're a prima donna and, like, all this stuff. But the reality of it is that your leadership helped quite a bit once they finally let you take over certain things, and I could see, like, the frustration, being able to help, ready, willing to help, have the time, and them not really listening to it. So at the time, I thought that it was kind of, maybe kind of pretentious to be like I'm gonna leave if you don't put me in power. But since then, I mean, the changes are just, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
The results.
Well, we'll I guess go over some stuff that we did, but at that point, they were debating whether they want to give me the role or not, and then someone pulled the plug and said no. And then I was like, okay, guys, I'm done. And people kept offending me all the time, calling me out for being a streamer. They're like literally straight up offending me with just anything. Listen, guys, I don't have to do this. I'm trying to do a good thing here. I don't know why you... A lot of people in DSI hate streamers. They just hate streamers by default. Doesn't matter if they're doing good, they're doing bad. It doesn't matter if they're not even streaming like I wasn't. I wasn't even streaming when I was playing Dual Universe. Guys, I was playing Dual Universe 12, 14 hours a day every day since it came out. And a lot of people can confirm that. I mean, everyone in DSI can confirm that. Whoever played a little bit always knows that I'm there during EU hours, which is from like 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. They know that I was there, and whatever needed to be done, they DM me and I will get it done. So I was obviously very committed, and there was nothing else in my mind than trying to improve DSI. Yeah, Leniver, I guess. Well, yeah, you were there from the beginning as well, Leniver. So Tony and Leniver were the main two guys that I was relying on to get stuff done within ops, and they were also like very competent people. I'll get to the new factory and stuff. Anyways, at some point I said I was gonna leave because they didn't really want me in there. And then I said, you know what, Euthermial, you have one last chance to even talk to me and talk in front of all these people, because all these talks are going in the council chambers, you know, only for council members, so the normal folk doesn't see anything that is going on. That there's nothing public like that happening. We didn't have any public meetings. We didn't have any like briefings. There was no news being posted at all. Like the last news is about something, but no one knows what DSI is actually doing. There's so many secret stuff. There's so much rivalry, spying, this and that. But dude, if I read chat, I'm trying not to read chat. Anyways,
we'll get to that question. All the ore. That'll that's a good question. We'll get to it.
Yes. We'll get to that, and it is a good question. That's why we're doing this AMA. So to get asked that question, because we do have the answers. Anyways, we called in Euthermial in front of Tony, in front of Lenver, in front of Infidel, who also joined us, and some other people. And there, I said, listen, I was really mad at that point, because I was being 100% disrespected the whole time, even though all I did was... They have nothing on me, guys. They have, especially then, there was really nothing they could put on me except, oh, you got that insider in and you got the factory stolen. I was also the guy that saved what I could, even though I was on the opposite side of the town. And on my bike at that point, I still managed to save half of or whatever part of the factory. So let's get back to the point. Euthermial's in the call, and then I was like, man, I'm leaving. And then people were like, listen, Euthermial, you don't get it, but Spreezy made the whole Simeon thing happen, and I really trust him, and Tony was there, and it was also like, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing this. No one would organize these people. Lenver came in and said, yeah, if he leaves, I don't want to play with you guys. If he leaves, I'm here because I like playing with him. And I'm not being like pompous or anything, or whatever you would call this, but I mean, Tony can confirm a lot of people came out without me telling them to do that or anything, because I was leaving. Okay, in my mind, I was leaving. I'm done. And people made me stay. People wanted me to stay, and they made Euthermial say, okay, what do you want us to do to enable you to play?
Yeah, and it sounds on the face, like, if you don't really know what's going on, it sounds like you're being really like pompous and kind of like, I held this place together, you know. But the funny part is that for depending on how you look at it, you kind of did, hold it together. And for a lot of us, it was like, if Spreezy's leaving, we're leaving, because it's so bad without him, and like, we just don't want to go back to that. So if he's leaving, then we could find a new place. We could group all together, whatever.
Yeah. So that was like part one of this whole thing, where it all started, because we're under the impression that we could actually start doing stuff, because they said, okay, give us 24 hours and we'll try to see if you'll be voted to governor by everyone. And lo and behold, they said yes then, even though they said no before. But already at that point, I've seen some really concerning conversations. You stopped eating for 3 days, her? That was me last 3 days. There was already conversations that they're only doing this to keep me in the org because I was bringing in some people and I'm a streamer. And I saw it from Euthermial himself saying that. And some people were agreeing with me in the council already, even though they probably shouldn't have, because it was against the grain. But already some people were on my side back then. But okay, I mean, I saw those conversations. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter to me as long as I can improve DSI and show people. I wasn't gonna argue with them and insult them for that. So I was like, the only thing on my mind at that point was, I'm going to show them how capable I am, and then they're going to stop saying that. They're going to stop calling me out for being a streamer. They're going to stop doing this and that. And I'm like, yeah. But let's see how that goes. Hopefully that will work. And I thought it was working for a while too. So let's go on to the next part. Let me just check the notes on what we wanted to discuss. Okay, so I've been put governor, and now had plenty of let me show you what a governor does. I have a document here.
Yeah, and him being in the governor position was huge. Just
Yeah.
absolutely massive, because it, like, just stuff was just not getting done. On Simeon we had the autonomy to kind of do what we needed to do, but back here it was, you know, we were really worried that we would go back to the bureaucracy and just like, oh, I want to install this new machine in the factory. All right, let me ask this guy who asked this guy who asked this guy who might be on in a week, and then you could do it. And then we just did not want to go back.
It was the slowest process ever, and 50% of the times it ended up in a failure. That is the problem. When it comes to the proof, let me tell you about proof, guys. First of all, I hate showing DMs, private DMs and stuff to anyone but the guy that I was DMing with. Second, if I give you a chat log or a screenshot of a conversation, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to random people because they can be faked. Anything can be faked, especially on Discord, man. You can even go into the Discord web client, and if you have any HTML knowledge, you can change the messages right there. You don't have to use Photoshop, dude. You can just go in and change with the inspect element or whatever, change what the message says, and you're done. You screenshot that. There's no proof for all of this that I want to show to you. This is my side of the story. This is not the legal court, okay? If you want to listen, you're going to listen. If you think that I'm lying, a screenshot is not going to change that. So I'm just putting out my side of the story. This is very important to note. Video proof of the we'll get to all other stuff. Like, we're doing a chronological order here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There's a stream of the fight though, and people telling him to go out. He's in the safe zone, and they're like, "Why are you in the safe zone? Go back out." So, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to all of that. Next, let me show you what each role in DSI does. By the way, this is a public document. Don't think I'm showing anything secret. Public document. I wrote this myself. I made it public myself as well, because it's very important for people in DSI to know, and anyone can get access to this, even if you're not in DSI.
And there's a short version of the fight. I'm not hearing you again. Yeah, there's a short version of the fight. I don't know if you want to post the link or whatever, or someone can just find it.
Someone can just find it, I guess. It's on Reddit. It was on Reddit yesterday or whatever. Anyways, we'll get to the fight later, guys. Please hang in there. I do have to go at some point. I have a meeting RL, but we'll try to get to everything tonight. If we don't get it tonight, I might just never talk about it, because I want to be done with this today. So here we go. What every person does. This is not up to date, obviously, anymore, because some people are not in DSI anymore. But Emperor and Regent, that's your Thermal and Firestorm, they control stuff. We don't have to go into the details. But what does a governor do? Because I was like, yeah, I'm a governor. What exactly do I do now? A governor is a council member. A council is like the highest body in DSI. And it recommends officers. Tala with 10 gifted subs. Wow, Tala, thank you so much. You really don't want to miss out on this stuff. Thank you, Tala, and thanks for the support. Anyways, so they recommend officers for promotion. Let's say, oh, we need a logistics guy. What do you guys think of making this guy an officer in logistics? Then they directly execute small to medium-sized tasks without needing to clear with superiors first. This was very important. This was what I wanted to do. If I need to get someone to do something, I just tell him to do that and try to arrange whatever he needs for that so he can do it easily. A brief superiors about progress of missions. Governors are supposed to brief the top guys, and that was being done like on a regular basis. I don't think they can ever say that it wasn't being done. It's just about info not being read. That's another problem, or not really, being paid attention to by the superiors. And one of the most important thing is oversees the work of department leaders. So a governor is not just a governor for X. He's a governor for all departments. Okay? For all departments. For PvP, for Ops, for Darkforge, governors oversee all of that stuff. And they influence what they think they should. They interfere where they think they should, where there's a problem. Game-wide executive oversight and command. This is... I'm not sure... Well, yeah, governors are per game, so in DSI there's multiple games that you can play, but I was a governor for DU only. I wasn't into other games. So we had D-Tom, who was mostly not playing for the duration of this time, so we're not going to be mentioning him at all. UN quit right about when I became governor, so they kind of put me in his place. So 2 governors were not playing. So who's left? It was only me left. They were above me. And then there's the council, but the council is more of a advisory thing than anything else, and they vote on other stuff. So there's really no one leading stuff in game except me. And before me, there was basically no one leading stuff in game.
Yeah.
It was very sporadic. One guy would show up, he would be given more assignments, he would do the assignments, then he would go away. There was no one constantly there. UN was there. When I joined, UN was that guy. And I replaced him because I guess he got tired of this. So that's it. Other stuff is much more minor. It's very... There's a lot of departments. Again, this is a public document. The whole system, not the whole system, but it was a mesh of different systems, and I really tried to make the best out of it. And I'm one of the people that most influenced the new system of hierarchy in DSI, the whole tree, and I really worked hard to get that done. And we had to change it 5 times because someone would touch it without even knowing the core of the thing. So it took us a long time, but we finally got to this place. And I was mostly doing operations, but I was also helping out where help was needed in other departments. Anyways, to get back to the main topic. We're only doing an intro, guys. We'll get to all the lies and accusations and stuff. You have to understand the context first.
Yeah, I mean, some of this is important, but some of it we could probably...
Yeah, we could probably skip. Yeah, I'm just looking at the list right now. Where did some of this stuff go? Okay. So at the time, we also had a merge with 10 that I mentioned. And they took over the military. But that didn't go well because they had a clash of like 2 completely different playstyles, and also the changes were so slow that for a good month we didn't have military. Like we just straight up didn't have military. Our military, old military guys went to do their own stuff. They were like their own like org within our org. They were completely disconnected from everyone else, and they did their own thing. And they were also really mad at that point at DSI because DSI wasn't providing them with anything, and they also put these random dudes in to redesign the military. So at some point, the main guy, the admiral that was appointed, quit because I guess he got sick and tired of all the drama and who knows what, and didn't get along with the leaders. So he just straight up quit without even saying anything. And then they had to replace the military leadership. So they came up with an idea. Okay, we're not going to let one guy lead it. We're going to give it to 4 different guys. and then we had recommendations from different people. Euthymia went around and asked people, hey, who do you think would be a good admiral for the Admiral Council? And then people said, I nominate this guy, I nominate that guy. And among those people, let's say there's a person Y that was also being considered as one of the potential admirals, and he said, I nominate person Z, but that person has a TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury, right?
Correct.
Which is a term that they use for injuries, brain injuries in the military. You know, someone is a military vet with a TBI. We have quite a few of those in Dual Universe, and quite a few of those I've been working with closely for the longest time. And so that guy said so Y said that Z has a TBI, and that's something to consider for him being put in the admiral position.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it's even gotten to this point. There was some insensitive things said for sure, and that definitely have to be mindful of people's disabilities.
Yes. But that wasn't even the main point of contention when it comes to person Z. That wasn't even why I said. So at some point I said, person Z probably, and I said it in council, person Z probably shouldn't be an admiral. I said that we were warned that he has an injury, which is okay. I also spoke to person Z, and he kind of explained what it meant for him, as in he can play for like an hour or two, then he has to take a break or whatever. I'm like, okay. That wasn't the main point of contention. The main point of contention for me is that person was very irresponsible and very rude at almost all times. That was the main problem.
Yeah, and before I even knew anything about any injuries or anything, that was my biggest problem, was that he just didn't treat people very kindly, and then so knowing about the injury makes you kind of understand a little bit, but it still doesn't really change what's happening. So it's less of a personal thing now at that point, but the question is still, should that person be doing sensitive things?
It was all whether he was going to be admiral or not. No one ever said this guy shouldn't play DSI and stuff. It was, first of all, we need nice people to be admirals, because we don't want people to, just go around saying whatever as admirals. They need to represent DSI. Second, I had interactions with that person where he was totally unprepared in multiple ways for a task that he was executing. And it ended up with me wasting time twice in a row with person Y and person Z, where I would sit around for 45 minutes doing nothing, waiting for them to execute something, to do a simple task. We have a delivery of 60 containers worth of ammo. They have to come pick it up and agree. And person Z comes to pick it up with a 4-container ship. and not just that, but they also don't have anywhere to put it. Even though they're told that there's 60 containers, they're totally unprepared. So that was a really good sign for me. Like, are these guys really going to lead our military being this disorganized? But they still got voted in, and I said, I'm not going to veto this. Let's see how they perform. Maybe I was wrong. Please prove me wrong. And that's an introduction into our relationship with the PP guys. I openly said that someone who has those traits should not be an admiral. That's all I said. And that is important for later. What else is important to point out here? People mining for like 10 hours a day. We had a call to action. Because we lost Simeon, now we're down a gigantic factory. We need to make a new one. So we wanted to make a new factory. And Tony and I started designing a new factory. Now we have all the know-how. CNRL, thank you for Prime. Welcome to the Triple E Club. Now we had the know-how of how to build an endgame factory. And I can probably go in game and show you what it looks like now. We had learned all we needed to learn, and on Simian we made some mistakes that costed us later, and we knew that it was going to be a problem. But this factory right now it has to be one of the biggest in DU when it comes to one core factories, and it's not even done. That's the thing. It's not even done. Mind you, this factory was built by Tony and me. 99% of the elements, 99 point something percent of elements were laid out by Tony and myself. And not to even mention the whole logic behind it. Look at how many levels it has and how much stuff it's producing. Anyways, the point being, we had to make this factory from nothing.
Yeah. And that was, hours and hours, like, so many, probably over 200 hours just on this one.
Yeah.
Between the two of us.
This has to be one of the biggest, because you can't put much more in the factory.
And then show them link mode.
Link mode, I'm scared of crashing right now. But it's just a fact. This is a really, really good, scalable, easy to work in factory. Our main issue is the amount of links, which we cannot avoid. But we even try to lower that as much as possible. Like, this is one of the good things about this design. It has the least amount of links for this many. Look at the FPS. And this is making PP parts. This is making everything except the like AGGs and similar. But
yeah,
we don't really care about the top tier stuff in this factory at the moment.
And the thing about these factories too is that once the closer you get to completion, the more you have to work with those frames.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a nightmare.
Okay, people wondering how many transfer units it has. First, I'm going to show you how long it takes for it to blueprint. So I'm going to blueprint it right now.
I'm going to say 2600.
Yeah.
Maybe 27, 28.
All right. So I've clicked blueprint. You're not creator of this contract. Which account am I on? Oh, what? That's a bug. Huh. Because of all the switching, I guess. What do you think, Tony? Yeah, this is a bug. Anyways, we have the factory here. I blueprinted it like 2 days ago, I guess.
I have a somewhat recent blueprint.
It currently has 2,500 transfer units. 2,500 transfer units. So I don't think there's that many factories that have 2,500 transfers. And this is important for you to understand because we knew how big this factory would get. Because we learned how to make a factory like this. So we needed ore. We needed a lot of ore. And we needed a factory to produce the factory. Because the old one did not have the capacity. And I'm going to go to the old one in a little bit while we talk. So I can show you the difference and why we didn't want to touch that factory. It had a lot of issues. So we needed to make a new one. And that was the plan, and everyone agreed that that was a good plan. So how do we get the ore? We had a nice bunch of miners on Simian that we convinced to keep playing because they were delivering most of the ore for the whole group, whole org without even getting paid in any way. You know, just a promise that they would get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say they were allowed to take freely from Simian, but not many of them did.
Yeah,
So
it was really fun to play. It was really fun to play on Simian. We really, you know, had fun with just playing the game. We enjoyed the game, and people could take stuff that they needed, do their own projects on the side a little bit. For the most part, people just enjoyed mining. We're talking about people that really like mining, all right? People that like mining. We didn't have anyone that didn't like mining except the guy that stole everything, but everyone else was like really into mining. And that was important for us, that people like what they do, so we can enable them to do that. So we had a call to action, hold DSI for a week, including PP guys would mine as much as they can, as much as they want, and we would give them notes. And we gave a lot of people scans of nodes. And a lot of people just use that to mine for their personal projects, while the top guys contributed everything. And we formed a beta unit. There was that was the alpha unit that was doing all of that. And the beta unit were the elite guys that only wanted to contribute to the org. Like 90-something% of the stuff that they ever mined was in DSI's possession. What the hell? They made some new stuff here. Anyways.
Yeah, the beta guys, they were serious. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know it was possible to mine that much.
Yeah, they were extreme. They were like top players in the game when it comes to mining, guys. Like 12-14 hours a day of mining, nothing else, just mining. And we made it happen. We gave them ships, we gave them fuel stations, we gave them everything that they needed to be able to mine that much.
Yeah, and I found it to be really important from at least something that I can do standpoint to make sure that everybody was supplied with their items that they request.
Yeah.
Without getting too deep in the minutia on the contributions on quest system.
Yeah.
You contribute, you get points, you use the points to request on the website, but someone has to actually go and do that. It wasn't my official job to do that, but I knew that we had to keep these guys happy, you know, and then making the ships too. We had to keep them happy because you know, well-oiled machine, we can get this done, but if we're not taking care of these people, then
exactly. So just to go back to the topic of the old factory, just to show you guys the difference, it may look big right away because you have to understand half of this is these rooms. These rooms don't scale well. And I was like, and everyone knew it. Everyone that was working at this factory knew that fact. So they didn't even want to, scale it even more. They just left it as it is. Just gonna show you an example with steel. I think these are the, if you're watching my stream, Tony, I think this is steel. Maybe it even says somewhere. It has 4 or 5 smelters on steel. The new factory has 30.
With the delay, I'll have to catch up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think you're looking right at steel.
Yeah.
But that, yeah.
So the point being, this factory was just not going to cut it for a 550 member org. We wanted to make a new one, everyone agreed. And they said, you know what? Take as many people as you want for a week to mine enough for the factory. And kind of guess what happened. All the PvP, not all the PvP guys, some PvP guys contributed. They didn't contribute too much, but they contributed. I know some people don't like mining, and that's fine. That's why they're doing PvP. They don't like mining. Sure, but PvP is an endgame thing, and if you don't have people mining for you, then you're not going to PvP because it's very expensive. There's no profit in PvPing unless you're like a really, really good pirate. The second thing, guess who contributed the most? I think 90-something% of the ore during that just first week was contributed by the guys from Simeon and the beta unit itself of like elite miners. And we're talking only like 7-8 people. Maybe max 10, but 7-8 people. They contributed almost all the ore. And everyone else is like, you know, 10k here, 20k there, 100k this guy, well done. But for the most part, people were, the people that were mining were the beta guys. And then it got even worse in the coming weeks, where even more, a bigger share of the total income of the org was made by the same 10 guys. And I'm going to show you what it ended up with. I'm going to show it to you right now because we finally got a website that, yeah, we got the exact numbers. Yes, we got the exact numbers, guys. Don't worry. So I'm going to show you right now so people can understand what happened. 80-20 rule? It was even more than an 80-20 rule.
Yeah,
no, that's very conservative. 80-20 right there. Let me just find the image. 1 second.
That definitely does apply.
Yeah. This is what it ended up with. At the moment of us getting kicked from DSI, I'm gonna try to... Okay, I have a screenshot of this, which is just the top 10. Keep in mind, I have 0 contribution points. Even though I mined the whole factory for Simeon myself and made it myself, I'm at 0 contribution point. I don't care about... I had no personal belongings. The only personal belonging that I have was that landing pad that I made the contest on Elioth. That's my personal belonging. Almost nothing else. Like everything else, like some small excess core ship, and that's it. So let's say nothing. All right, I have nothing on me. All I had was on DSI.
Yeah, and I made him the medium ship without him asking. So
yeah, exactly. So and that's like a more of a stylistic ship than actual functionality ship. It's more, just so I have a ship. And Tony came in one day, is like, Spreezy, take this ship. You deserve it. Okay. So let me show you this. This is the top 10 when it comes to contribution. This is very important to understand these numbers. This is where the serious part begins, and this is where all the accusations begin, and where they basically get refuted and like they're not true. Right here. Leniver is our top guy when it comes to mining. Behind him, Ahura, Hackvin, Infidel, Swiggy, Tony. These guys have been mining since day one of joining. And Ahura, what the funny part is, Ahura wasn't really... They thought he was a spy for a while, so he couldn't even get into the beta unit and stuff. And once he was cleared, and it was okay. And then he joined, and then he got to second place in like a week. Or like 2 weeks from like 20th place to second place. The guy's a machine. And all of these people are freaking machines, but they also want to do some other stuff. So I'm going to put these numbers into... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to, for clarification, 1 point is...
Yeah, that's what I want to do, all the calc now. So
okay,
1 point, guys. So the first guy has 25 million. 1 point equals to 1 liter of tier 1 ore, and let's say it's coal. It's like 25 quanta. Let's say 1 point is 25 quanta. Do you know how much quanta the top 10 contributed total? I'll just give a rough estimate right now. 3 billion quanta. Okay? Top 10 guys in DSI contributed 10 billion quanta. And I could show you 3 billion quanta, my bad. And I can show you the rest of the list, but already at number 14, I think, it drops below 1 million total. Something like that. So the rest of the guys maybe contributed like 20 million contributions. Everyone else in the whole org is worth one of these guys. If you join them together, just straight up ore contributions. We're not looking at other stuff, other types of contributions. We're talking only about ore contributions. There was another guy, top 11. That is also he left DSI, but the top 11 made like who knows. They basically ran DSI when it comes to income. Everyone else negligible. All right. Do you know how many of these top 11 left DSI in the last 3 days? Can you guess the amount? How many of these guys left DSI out of the top 11? Now I'm asking chat right now. Yeah.
Yeah, every single
single person left DSI.
And that's got to tell you something right there. If your top 11 people all leave, come on, man. Like, come on. And okay, so Spreezy and I built the factory. These guys, for the most part, 95% supplied it.
Yeah.
So who's stealing here?
Who's stealing from whom, guys? If we left this factory, technically DSI would be stealing it, because the rest of DSI that is left in there didn't do anything. They didn't... I bet you the Firestorm... I saw him in the factory after we left. I bet you that was the first time he was there. He didn't even, leaders need to be involved in everything. I've had such weird interactions when I was in a channel, and then Infidel was in a channel who was in DSI for as long as I was almost. And then a leader comes in and he's like, oh damn, this is the first time I hear a voice. And the guy's playing 12 hours a day. Don't you find that strange? That stuff happens. And of course, it's all right to have a life, and everyone allows people to have lives. And no one is complaining about people having lives. We're complaining about people, and what we have a problem with people that still want to control everything, even though they have an hour or 2 hours a day to play max. That's not how you run an org. And this is where all these problems come from the leaders not being leaders. They just, they're trying to lead everything, but they don't have the time, but they're not going to let go. They don't want to let go. And it's their thing. It's their project. Well, this is what happens. And they already saw that happening on Simeon, after Simeon, once we wanted to leave. And they still didn't do enough or even close to stop this, because there were still a lot of problems. There were problematic people, insulting others. People not wanting to PvP in general because of the toxicity in those channels. And whenever I said, we got to address this, we got to do something about it, they were like, no, not really. Or, yes, I'm going to have a talk with that guy. And that guy has a talk with him. And nothing happens. Same thing tomorrow. Those were the problems. And they cannot say that we didn't say anything about the problems. We were constantly... They told me that I'm boring, that I'm annoying them with the amount of stuff, the amount of feedback that I'm giving them from different departments. They told me that I should, I talk too much, I complain. They use the word complain. That I complain too much. People have been reporting me for complaining too much. Not reporting me, but, saying to other people, like, this guy just keeps complaining. It's not complaining. It's trying to make things better. So yeah, top 10 guys, all 10 left. And I knew, and Tony and I knew that they were all going to leave, because they knew that they were only there because stuff was working while Tony and I were running ops. As long as we're out, there's no one else there. And Tony, could you explain how it went with when you were talking to other people, how they're going to replace me and stuff, and how easy it is?
Oh yeah. So they saw the writing on the wall after the PvP thing with Boo, and they figured that I was gonna stay, and they were talking to me about your responsibilities and trying to get a good list of what you do, and so they can figure out how to replace you. And I told them, I was like, I don't know what he does. He does way more than I even know about. What I do know about is already a full-time job, and there's no one here that's got the time, got the rank and the trust, and the ability, frankly, to do that stuff. They may have one of those three, or two maybe, but they don't have all three. And I'm like, you're not gonna replace him. And I told him, I'm like, if he's out, I'm out, because I'm not going to be doing that stuff. Admin stuff and still building the factory, trying to keep everybody together and happy and on projects and then catch all the flack and like this. I'm not going to do that. So I told him, I'm like, you got to give him what he wants, because stuff's really going to fall apart if he goes.
I mean, what did I want him to do even? I don't even know.
Just respect.
Well, basically, I just wanted them to respect me a little bit more and respect my opinion, and not try to turn it in some way where I wasn't even gonna go with it. It's just, we need to get this done. If a guy is making, listen, guys, I had a little kid from PvP while we were discussing something come in, start talking over me. Joining the discussion late, start talking over me, and I told him, please let me finish. He started talking over me even louder. I moved him away from the channel. He comes back, and the kid says, I'm gonna chop your head off if you move me one more time. And
do that again, I'll rip your head off.
Yeah, do that again, I'll rip your head off. In front of 10, 15 people. Oh, okay. And then Tony moved it. I wasn't even me that moved it again. And then he went away. A big talk from the little man, yeah. Military guy. Of course, it was a military guy. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, then I take it to the leaders, and Euthermial starts defending him again. That's his first response. Like, it's like, oh, but that's how we talk in the military. Again, it's always the same rhetoric, you know. That we military guys. Stuff like that. It was happening all the time. He isn't even a vet. He's just a kid. Exactly. He's like 16, maybe 17. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's,
Call of Duty vet.
Yeah, Call of Duty vet. You know, stuff like that was happening all the time. And that kid was also like my main. He's the main streamer hater. He also streamed Night Marquee Dragon, and I don't know what. You know, he uses every opportunity to get back at streamers because streamers did him so much bad in his life or something. I don't know. There's a default hate towards streamers in DSI, starting from Euthermial downwards. A lot of people hate streamers. Some people like me as a player, and I have a lot of friends in DSI today that are left in DSI, starting from like very high ranked people to the new recruits, because I spent the time to get to know them, to talk to them in general, to hang out with them, to include them in different projects, to introduce them to other people. I have a lot of friends in DSI. Some didn't leave, some left. The people that left, we're all in the same group now. I didn't drag anyone out. Everyone left on their own. I didn't go around poaching people. Everyone that left on their own. And Tony and I knew that was going to happen because we knew these players. We knew what they were thinking. But we didn't say, listen, you have to leave if we leave, otherwise we're going to look bad. No, we left, and we knew exactly how it was going to unfold. And every single person that we knew was going to leave, left. And some people, listen to this is very important. Some people that are in DSI right now don't want to leave now because it will make them look bad in front of DSI. Because it would make it look like they left and to join me. But the truth is, they don't want to do anything with those guys. But this is just one part of the stuff. Let me just check the notes again. That was just, you know, the more tangible stuff, the more visible stuff, the more direct in-game stuff. But well, I don't want to go too much about the other things, but we should talk about the lies, the deception, the shadow leaders, etc. in DSI.
Yeah.
You can
maybe like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, want me to go on that? Okay, so yeah, so tensions were kind of high, and people were on edge, but there was a trigger that caused us to leave, and
well, what caused you to leave 2 weeks before that? Or a week before. Maybe let's start from there.
Yeah, so 2 weeks back, without saying any names, I met someone who kind of rubbed me a little wrong. Maybe that's an understatement. But some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, whoa. But he was in upper leadership in DSI. So
if I can just clarify real quick, that person was in the council, and he wasn't involved in DU, but he started playing like a week before that, and I needed help from someone trusted because I was being overwhelmed. Even though I was playing 14 hours a day, I was being overwhelmed. Yeah. And I needed someone to help me that was trusted, that I could give the rights to, so he can run some stuff and work under me. So this guy is like, hey, pick me. I'm like, okay. I mean, if you're in the, you basically have the same role as me, just for another game, let's say, to keep this simple. I'm gonna trust you because DSI has a system where if you get to this point, you're very trusted. So I gave him like third in command position of ops, so he can help me. So he could help me run stuff. And he also brought some of his friends, and they were supposed to help us with industry. Help us speed up the industry process because the lag was getting too hard and we needed more people to work with. But we just couldn't find anyone that was willing to work as much as we needed them to. And this guy, he plays 12 hours a day as well. Don't get me wrong. He can play a lot. So you can take over, Tone.
Yeah, so I was, some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, dang. Well, with his position in leadership, I'm like, well, that must be, he's saying, without getting too deep into it, all the stuff that DSI does, through him, and that he will do XYZ. So I'm like, all right, well, if that's how DSI operates, maybe I'm in the wrong org. So I start looking at leaving, and I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to cause any drama. Yeah, here we are. But yeah, I just wanted to make my exit because I don't play this game to do that stuff. So if that's how DSI operates, that's okay. But I just didn't want to do that stuff.
And during that time, I was on vacation. I didn't hear any of these weird chats that was going on, and like a lot of people wanting to leave all of a sudden. I come back from vacation. I'm like, dude, do you know that quite a few members want to leave right now, especially the beta unit guys? I'm like, what happened in 2 days? So I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't there for a lot of these situations, but I went and interviewed literally everyone to tell me what exactly happened. You go ahead.
Yeah. So I had applied to another org, and that org contacted DSI leadership, and it sounds like they kind of made a deal to keep me in DSI. And so my understanding was, hey, we'll talk to this person, but he doesn't represent DSI. The person in question doesn't have any power here. So rest assured, he may have said some weird things, but that's not official DSI position.
Yes.
And so I'm like, all right, okay, that's cool then. I can hang out. I don't like necessarily want this guy to be like ostracized or anything. I just, now that I know that that's not official DSI position and he doesn't have any power, then yeah, that's fine. I'll keep up. I'll get back to work. So fast forward, he leaves. I mean, just like a couple days later, he leaves and
makes his own faction on the side. He's gonna play with some other people, etc.
And so the position from leadership was, okay, he's out. No more worries. Like, all right, cool.
At that point, you were in the council, right? You were getting introduced in the council. So Tony had access to all of this, like, high-level information. At least we thought it was all of the information there was to know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, okay, now I'm in the council, and now it's up to me to make sure that I mean, not just me alone, but to make sure that people feel comfortable here, and that we're doing the right thing, taking care of our people. But I got the feeling that the top guy wasn't being 100% straight with us, and there was a bunch of stuff that was going on. But the bottom line is that I just felt like something just wasn't quite right. Stuff wasn't quite adding up, and I started to question if I want to keep at it. So then fast forward to just Saturday or Sunday, Monday, we see that guy in question that was causing all the issues and that left. We were assured that he had no power. We see he's back, and he's got roles. So someone high level invited him back in.
One of the admins, which is like 4 people on the server total. Yeah.
And so
deleted the logs. Deleted the logs of that happening, as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong, but I couldn't find any logs of him getting those roles, or anyone saying, this guy, we need to give him the roles. So he got roles to go back into like the DU part of our Discord, which is not easy to get into in the first place. There's a whole process that you have to go through to even get to see the dual universe channels.
Yeah, so he didn't like slip and fall and end up in that. So at that point, one of two things. Either, I mean, maybe a third, but what I figured is either he actually does have all this power, and all of that stuff that I was assured is not true actually is true. That he's working with the leadership to do all this stuff that they assured me was was just him just lying. So that all must be true. or there's just I don't know, something that just going on that I didn't really fully understand. But either way, something shady was going on, and someone somewhere was lying, and I was starting to believe that guy more and more, about him saying that he's got power, that he works directly for like the top guy. And so at that point, once I saw him back, I'm like, all right, this is too shady. I'm out. And so at that point, that's when we were talking about the factory. Then I guess you could tell your side about that, or if you want me to tell my side.
Well, you can. I guess you can tell your side.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during the maintenance, Spreezy messages me and he's like, "Hey, should I tokenize the factory?" I was just gonna leave, but says, you know, should we tokenize the factory? I'm like, all right. I mean, yeah, go ahead, because we built it. But I knew that there'd be backlash and you know, talk of inciting.
Yeah.
You know, so it happened, and you have to keep in mind too that we had the ability to, you know, if there was any plans of inciting or anything like that, we had access to everything. We had the main base, we had the PvP stuff for the most part. Some of that was in private hands. We had the shipbuilding org. We had access to everything.
That's not the worst part even. The worst part is, okay, I had access to every single asset that DSI has that I knew about. But apparently there was more stuff that I didn't know about, even though I was the only active governor in DSI. I wasn't being told that there was some other stuff. But let's say I had everything. And I could pick and choose what I want to take. I could take everything in 10 minutes. Because I had the VRs to everything as well. So, a funny part is, they couldn't vote us out even after we left. They got themselves in a position where we had as many legates as they did in certain suborgs that had like 99% of assets. They couldn't even vote us out, guys. We were like, we could vote them out, maybe. Not necessarily. We were like 50-50, or they had a little bit more, but you need 2/3. And the leadership let us have so many legates, just Tony and me, okay? We had so many legate positions that they couldn't even vote us out. That's how poor the leadership was in DSI. They let that happen. One thing is to be able to steal something. Another thing is to be able to steal something and even control what's going on after that. And you have to abandon the whole org. So there was a org that was running all the ops, which was called the DSOC. We had 3 legates in it, Tony and I, total. We'll get to that, Johnny. We'll get to that, Johnny. We had 3 legates total. And we had 150 RDMS policies in there. 150. Let me show you why we had 150 policies. Because we have a mailbox system that has a policy for each individual player. Mind you, I designed this whole thing. I've placed most of the elements down here. I put all the names up, and I made every single policy, 90-something% of the policies myself. Okay? All of this.
Yeah.
And so they lost this org. Do you know how much time it takes to make these policies? My game crashed every 4th time I put a tag on because the game is funny and it crashes, but I still went and created, I'm not going to say every single one, but almost all of them.
Yeah, the majority. I created a few, but yeah, the majority.
So but this is just one of the things that I've made happen, or just even designed, if nothing else, for the org. I did this for the org. I have no use for this, guys. I have no use for this. So what we did is, after this all settled down, we gave back the org so they could have this RDMS back. Because they had it deadlocked. We could have kept that org forever. Maybe even kicked them at some point if they started leaving. So we gave it back. Not just that, but they asked us if we could give them some industry so they can start building their factory right away, because their factory is junk. So I went there and I filled up a full ship, 10 containers worth of fully handled containers full of industry and even PvP stuff, guns, ammo, a little bit of this and that. So they have anything they need for next, well, I don't know how much it's going to last them, but for a good portion of the time. And I gave that to Dark. Dark can confirm that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's people's first time hearing about that too, because
yeah,
they're trying to minimize
I'm really
that.
curious if anyone knew about this, because, you know, why would they say this? Why would they say that we gave back? So we gave back the orgs, all of the orgs, not this one yet because we didn't get to it, but this one doesn't have anything on it. But as you can see here, it's these two are well, this is Firestorm and this is another alt from the leadership, and there's 3 of us, so they can't do anything in this org. We gave back the orgs and we gave back some stuff for them to be able to build. But there's another point. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, we don't hate these people. Like, we just, especially when all of the miners came, like, that solidified it to me. Like, all of us together built this. And this factory, not the one you're at, but the other one that you were at start of the stream. And so there, you know, it can be said that, yeah, but it was property of the org. You guys put that in for the org. Yeah, you know, you could go both ways on that, and then that's where it becomes a matter of opinion. But yeah, I think that these people have more of a say, at the very least, more of a say of what happens to this factory than DSI does. At the very least, you could say that.
And if you look around on the main base, okay, Charlotte did the design and decorations, but who got all of this material? Who got all the material for this? Who designed the whole layout of this base? Who laid out the whole runway and all the platforms? It was me. It was all the miners working on that. It was Ahura also helping out. Ahura filled the gigantic hole that was underneath this place by himself. Gigantic hole. It was probably bigger than a large core. He had to fill that up so it stops lagging if we had issues like bugs in that hole. There was so much that we did for the org. All the RDMS, there's so much stuff that we did, guys. I don't want to get into that. I'm gonna start feeling even worse because I only took one factory and a bunch of ships that were ours anyway. So we took what we found was ours to take because we built it, and we left more than we should have. I was sitting here after we took what we wanted, which took us 5 minutes because we didn't take a lot. I was sitting here and just wondering, you know, when they're going to realize that I could have taken this whole base, all the PP ships, all the PP stations, everything. I could have taken everything, but I didn't. It's not like they're probably, we made it in time. You know what the first thing they did when they came online and realized that we took the new factory? They went to tokenize everything else. Instead of talking to us, instead of trying to do whatever, they really thought that they were saving it by tokenizing it. Yeah, whatever, this stuff, random stuff in chat. But the reality is, we were sitting here and just, you know, we just want to get over this. This is what's going to happen, and that's it. There's no way around it. There's too much shady stuff going on. We didn't even go in half of the shady stuff. But the thing about contributions, if we go back, is those guys that had 25 million contribution points, you get a certain currency for that. They used between 0 and 10%. Most of them used 0 and 10% to get the stuff back. So 90% of the stuff that they've contributed is still like a donation. They didn't ask anything back for that. Very important for you guys to understand as well.
Yeah.
And that's how they played. They were like, I'm contributing to DSI because I like the idea behind DSI. I could ask the stuff back, but I don't want to because I like DSI. And then all this happened. They're like super disappointed. I never want to play with these guys again. I just want to enjoy the game. All of us, the left, we just want to play the game, enjoy the game. We don't want dramas. Like, this was like the most stressful gaming experience of my life. For no reason, for nothing. This is a small game. Maybe if I was in Call of Duty on top of the world playing competitive, maybe I would take the stress and say, all right, it's fine because I'm getting something out of it. But I'm not getting anything out of Dual Universe. Anything. It's a small game. First, are you wondering why no one streams this game? First of all, because it's so small. The Reddit has like 7K people on it. The videos get no traction. You cannot stream PvP because you get stream sniped. Why would you even hate a streamer? I wasn't even a streamer while I was here. I made 2 videos. So yeah. Some wise people here.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, I mean, it won't. The drama won't go away, but for a little while at least. But that's the point of this, is so we could just, get it out and stop talking about it. Because I do kind of get tired of people saying, like, oh, that, they stole everything we had. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, cool, man.
So, stealing the factory, you cannot call it stealing, because then we would be stealing from ourselves, I guess. Because all the people that left built this factory, and we left over so much more than that factory is worth. So this is just a fair split, because we knew that if we left and asked for the factory, they would say no, because they're that type of people. And later on, in the last like 24 hours, maybe 72 hours, I've found out more stuff about how they were using me as a streamer, and they wanted to replace me anyway with that guy we were mentioning. It was causing all those issues, wanted people to leave. That is not 100% confirmed, but everything led to that. And not necessarily replace me with him, but just replace me in general. And they were playing around, not just me, but other governors that didn't, and council members that didn't really know that they were being played. They're just being used, because the main leaders only care about DSI as a whole, as their project, and about each other. Like, there's 3 to 4 guys, and maybe like a friend or 2. Other people are just there as, what terms did they use?
I'm
what
not
was
sure.
it? Anyways, they're just, they're just tools to make DSI bigger. And pawns, yeah. And that's not the way to treat people. And you could really feel that people were being treated like I was being treated like that. But and I got confirmation from different people that I was being used for that stuff. Even though when they're talking to you, they're so nice and understanding. But as soon as they're done talking to you, like, yeah, we're gonna keep him as long as he's bringing views or new people in. Because I brought quite a bunch of people into DSI, and those people became the top players in DSI too. Doesn't matter if it's because of me or not, but I had a lot of competitive players from different games on my stream and watching my videos, so they came over when I invited them. DSI is great, come over. I don't want you to join DSI anymore. I don't think it's a place for you. There's nothing there left, and the morals are wrong there. The way of playing there is wrong. It's just. And then all the lies came out about once we left. And we're going to address the lies now. So the first lie is that I insulted a war vet. That is not true. That extends to the story that I already told before, how I was against having someone that is that has like 3 qualities that don't suffice, that they're not there, that should be an admiral. And I said, I don't really want this person to be an admiral because this isn't that. One of them being if he has an injury, because it's stopping him from playing actively or is affecting anything else. I didn't go into the details because that doesn't concern me. I'm not here to know about private life of other members. I'm here only to assess if he's going to be able to do a certain job. And then we had a conversation just the day before leaving where I said in front of a few people that person shouldn't be, that I just said it publicly, that I already said in the council that I think that person shouldn't be an admiral because this and that. That's all I said about war vets. I didn't insult anyone. That person wasn't even in the chat. Someone else was being a little bit more blunt about not caring about people's issues and stuff. It wasn't me, and I don't care about that. It wasn't me. So that's the line number 1. I said nothing about it. And do you guys realize that most of the people that left with me are war veterans.
Yeah, at least about half.
Half people, okay, half
Like
of the people.
6 out of 12 or whatever.
Yeah, and Tony being one of them. And he was in that chat, and there was at least 2 more guys that can confirm the same thing. I didn't say anything to anyone except that what I already repeated. I technically didn't even say that myself. I repeated what another admiral said about that guy. I just repeated what he said. Not in the specific words, but the meaning was the same. You know, it's something to keep in mind with him having as an admiral. And that's it. I didn't say anything offensive to anyone. So that's a just straight up lie, and there's nothing else to it. They just started to make up stuff because they didn't have anything on us. They knew how much stuff we did, but they wanted to make us look bad. Not just me, Tony and everyone else. They wanted to make us look bad because they were salty about us leaving and taking the factory. And you have to understand the despair, because that factory was the future of DSI to a certain degree.
Yeah, and then, you know, with us doing all the logistical work, and, you know, it's a huge blow. It's probably going to take a while to recover if it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, wish ill upon them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do get a little bit of enjoyment watching these bad decisions kind of blow up, but as far as like that guy and the leadership not being fully honest with people, stuff like that. But you know, we're not enemies. And I still, you know, talk to some people, and I really don't want there to be this huge like hatred and contention and stuff like that. But it is unfortunate, you know, some of the dishonesty that's going on. But that was kind of the reason why we left, and so it's not a huge surprise that continues. And you know, now that we're not in DSI anymore, we're starting to meet other orgs, and you know, in particular Band of Outlaws, and realize that we were told a lot of lies about them, and being new to the game and new to these type of games for some of us, we just kind of believed it.
Well, we're told that Boo is like the arch enemy of everything good, and you know, they're doing this and that, but at the end of the day, they're more capable PvPers than DSI is, for obvious reasons. Second, they don't show off. They don't claim anything. DSI claims that they're the best and this and that, and they're trying to show off, but we'll see in the next few months how much they'll be able to show off, because this is just... Yeah, I agree, Drew, that people take the game too seriously. There's too much politics. There's too much drama. Every day in this game, there's so much drama, because these people that have been playing against each other in other games came to this game, and they're just because, you know, it's a space game, they became they had an established community, sort of, all these different clans, and then they sucked up all the new players in it. But Boo is just another clan like any other clan in this game. They may do some bad stuff, maybe on the highest level of politics or whatever, but most people in Boo are players like DSI, like NG, like anyone else.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's funny because DSI is the ones getting banned from different servers or different games and stuff, and we were told a story, but I don't know if that was 100% true, and so yeah, it's like, are we really the ones that are the problem?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, none of us, the players that left, want these dramas every day, and we get sick and tired of that, especially when people that are our leaders lie to us daily and don't really care about our problems, have no respect for us. Those are the main reasons that led to us leaving, and we just had enough. We gave them enough opportunities to try to make it right. They didn't, and that's where the end of DSI as you know it came to be, because they just didn't do what they had to do. starting from Simeon, where they still didn't let go of a lot of things, and then coming into this and knowing all this shady stuff coming in the back. Guys, we're trying to keep this very civilized and very like simple. There's so much more to it. We don't want to get into the details. We don't want to say names. We don't want to say details because it will make a lot worse. So please understand, we're trying to just wrap this up for one time today and never have to talk about this ever again. We're trying to clear our names of stupid accusations, stupid lies. Another lie was that I intentionally destroyed 2 of those PvP ships. You have the stream. If you want to know more, go watch my VOD from like the previous one and the one before from the weekend. It's
and
just
even the short like 4-minute video that Boo put out on that Band of Outlaws, someone could probably link it somewhere, but that does a pretty good job of capturing, you're going to safe zone and they're like, no, go back, we didn't tell you to go to safe zone.
Yeah, you can watch this. I didn't. The fact that I was flying second time in my life a PvP ship. By the way, first day we got 4 kills. I had a crew of like myself and 3 recruits, so four noobs at PvP flying a big ship, and we were among the people that got the first kill on an actual PvP cube from another faction. And we got 3 other kills that day, and I participated in every kill, and we've got the most damage on every kill because we had the biggest ship. And the PP guys really had a problem with that. And then they started making up stuff about what I did and why I did it on Sunday, which was just a few hours of PvPing, and we were PvPing against the big boo ship. We had no chance against the boo ship, guys. Everyone was just testing out what was going to happen. And as soon as we lost most of our voxel on the ship, we went back. And that's about it. We were trying to squeeze out as much uptime from each ship that we could. And the small ships are much easier to target, much harder to target, much harder to take out. So obviously our biggest ship, which is also an interceptor, is going to get destroyed first. And we came with the second one, it got destroyed too. But that was normal. Someone has to get shot because we also had very unskilled, as in talents, unskilled players, so our range was reduced by a lot. Our skills in general were reduced by a lot, so it was normal for us to lose the ships. Maybe my piloting wasn't the best, but I was really trying to listen to all the calls and try to follow the plays. And if you watch the stream, everything's going to be clear to you. This video doesn't tell the whole story, the one that I posted, but at the end of the day, the PvP stuff, even if I made some mistakes, I was 2 days in. I made maybe mechanical mistakes in the game, but I cannot say that I didn't make a single mistake. But they're so negligible in the grand scheme of things, they shouldn't affect anything.
And we all have to expect to make mistakes, but yeah, I think with the video as evidence being out there, for someone to say that you intentionally just took an L and destroyed 2 ships.
Oh, that too. That wasn't like clear to go. There's actually a moment, I have a clip of it, a moment where I ask, can I go? And one of the admirals says, yeah, go, we'll be right there. And the first lie was that I took a ship by myself and just flew without anyone around. They just made up random stuff. I don't know what mental problems these people have that they really need to lie about the things that anyone can prove that are wrong. Like straight up can prove with a video. It was all recorded. The communication is there. You can hear it on the video, and they still make up these lies. Like, can you try a little bit harder? Maybe with something that there's no proof. How are you so stupid?
Yeah, there was a lot of mistruths, but I leave out a lot of it for not to get too deep in the minutia, but also if you don't have any proof, then it's kind of like he said, she said. But
yeah,
that one is very egregious. Like there's multiple times during all that it could be proven that what they're saying just simply isn't true. So that's interesting to me that's the story.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to go over? Maybe we could take some questions, actual questions from chat.
Yeah, I think the most important question here is someone asked, "Do you like bacon?"
Do I like bacon? I eat it
yeah.
every day, dude. I'm a freaking bacon destroyer.
Bacon destroyer confirmed.
Yes, with 3 E's. Destroy ear.
Confirmed.
What's next for you, Spreezy? Any chance of you and others leavers joining up? I mean, we did join up. Well, we don't have like a, oh, we're gonna join this org, or we're gonna even make an org. We're gonna play together and work together on achieving goals that make us happy. Let's put it that way. Everyone agrees that we just want to enjoy the game. We don't want drama. We didn't do anything wrong. And this is just the next chapter in DU, because from what I've found out in the last few days, they were gonna replace me anyway. So I guess they got what they wanted. That's about it. I want to know if you think DSI will fix itself or is going to keep failing like this. I don't know who's going to fix DSI, because now they had a call to action. Again, let's all mine. By the way, the guy typing that apparently was that little kid that first of all didn't want to give out resources when I asked them to, when we needed them. Then I had to trade with our own military to get a little bit of resources out. Can you even believe that? I had to trade with my own guys within my org. And they also didn't, a good portion of them went to play other games while we were all mining for a week. And those guys are trying to be the leaders now, saying, oh, we got to recover from these thieves, these idiots that stole our stuff. Let's go and mine. You know how long that's going to last, guys? 2 days. Given 2 days, they're going to go back to their space engineers and play space engineers. I really don't know who's going to lead DSI to recover from all this, because the main input of ore is gone. I don't know a single person in DSI that is willing to mine 25 million ore. Good luck with that. I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, but maybe they have a plan. I don't really care. I couldn't care less about DSI at this point. Like, I'll let them do what they want. They should let me do what I want. If it means that they target me in PvP, so be it. Do I look like I care about that? I can play this game PvE forever if I want to. And maybe it's a good thing that I have some enemies finally, because in DSI it was such a problem. We're in a gigantic alliance where there's no enemies except pirates. Like there's you can't even get a fight. You do a blockade, no one comes into the blockade except like 2 random freighters that didn't know that it was blockade going. So freaking boring to play too, when you don't have a lot of people to fight. Maybe it's a good thing that we have some enemies.
yeah, and I personally don't really care for PvP in its current state. Once it improves, then maybe, and yeah, we'll have some fun fights with all 2 ships that DSI has on the field. And so I'm just kidding. They have like 4. But
yeah, guys, feel free to ask some questions while I'm here. I'm not feeling that great today. I might end it sooner, but the situation is stupid, like completely stupid, but it is what it is. And we're not going to be talking about DSI at all from now on, because we're going to be focusing on our own gameplay and our own goals in the game. We just want to get this over with, and we wanted to clear up stuff. And we also didn't want to drag a lot of people into it, names in. And I know a lot of people support me, even a lot of the DSI members. I've received quite a few words of, you did the right thing, and I'm sorry I had to come to this, and similar. And hopefully DSI recovers for the sake of all the good guys that are in there, because 90-something% of DSI is just normal people, good guys. And then there's that top 5-10% that are just they take this way too seriously, and they have no social skills, and they're just liars and manipulators. And I wish that DSI could get rid of them. The problem is it starts from the top downwards. So it's extremely hard to get rid of that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks to months. because my theory is that the leadership just prevents DSI from being really great. But I could be wrong. So I guess we'll see.
Let's see some other questions. Will you start your own org? Probably not. I'm not interested in playing mass orgs in this game because this game does not support big orgs really well. So I'm probably going to be sticking to personal project and playing with friends, playing with people that I know are good and trusted. Maybe some of them join some other org. I'm not here to stop anyone from doing anything. Maybe some of them go back to DSI. But that is very unlikely at this point from the people that are left. And DSI keeps trying to DM them, you know, come back. What would it take for you to come back? They don't really care. They wouldn't have left if they wanted to be. So.
Yeah, and this wasn't like, you know, us leaving and then messaging everybody and be like, hey, come with. It was us leaving and everybody being like, hey, where'd you go? Can I come?
Exactly.
Like, it's...
Exactly, that's what people did. I didn't message a single person except Tony and the guys that were in voice at the start, where it was like, guys, listen, we're gonna leave, and that's it. And Tony and I knew how it was gonna fall because we were playing this game 12 hours a day, and not like some other people that are supposed to be our leaders. They didn't play anything, but still wanted to have everything in their hands. So that's what led to this. Poor leadership, poor management. And disrespect all around.
Oh, and as far as like the factory benefits, I see the question in chat.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12 of us who are using it. So like all the people who really made it happen are in an org using it. So so it's not just like 2 people.
It's not like Tony and I are not the only ones with using this factory. All these people that have left, we have a personal responsibility. Even if they want to come to us and say, give us our contributions back, you know, we would try to fulfill as whatever they want and kind of cash them out. But people just want to play the game. They don't want to. They want to play the game with us. We're like a good team. I'm not saying that we're a gang within the DSI. No, it's just top players not wanting to play with a lot of bots and root people that are in DSI, and they just don't want to waste their time and put ore to feed them because they don't want to mine. They only want to do this and that. People find it very disrespectful. Disrespect is the name of the game here when it comes to people leaving. It's just a shame that it had to go this way.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah, if there's anyone else with questions, feel free to post. What did you want to say, Tony?
Oh no, just yeah. I mean, we just want to play the game and have fun like anybody else, and it just, you know, the stuff that was going on in DSI just wasn't doing it, and yeah, I mean, we definitely different choices.
Amazing, thank you very much.
But it's kind of how it went, and so we're just trying to enjoy the game with each other that left with us, and that's happening. So that's all it's really about.
Yeah, exactly. And well, let's see. Here's some shoutouts from Maro. Yeah, well,
Maro.
Tony and I personally helped a lot of recruits in DSI. Set up, show them around at least, to get them involved in certain things. Why? Because there was almost no one doing that. We had a great training center that Griffin ran, and is still running, I guess. Although I don't know what the future of that is. But the thing is, there wasn't that many people that are willing to get to know other people, get to know what they want, and try to put them in the proper department, or try to, guide them in a certain way, push them in a certain way. It was only a few of us that are really trying to do that, but you only have so much time. And for the most part, people were just left with, wandering around, not really knowing what to do. And that is an inherent problem of a big org, but fortunately not enough people try to fix that.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
I mean, and I'm sure it's hard running an org like that. So maybe lessons will be learned, hard lessons learned, and
Yeah.
things will be fixed, and they can move on and grow from it. Just like
Thanks, Harper.
how Simeon taught us a lot, and so
Yeah, well, Simeon taught us how to build a factory, how to make rock solid RDMS. It taught us a lot of things. We could have quit then after we lost the factory to a thief, but we didn't. It made us stronger in a way, made us make a bigger, better factory. I mean, made us get really good at the game. But unfortunately, we tried to make connections make proper relationship with other members of DSI, and my personal mission, player, thank you for this. Welcome to the AAA Club. My personal mission was to connect the PP guys, which were a little bit too much of a special group, to the rest that were supplying them, so we could all be one team and everyone can enjoy playing. And I really did my best. Sometimes I disagree with some people. Some people they're just annoyed by me. But being annoyed by me just because I'm a streamer made no sense in this matter, because I wasn't even streaming. I was just committing. I wasn't streaming because I wanted to help out DSI, and I've committed so much time. I've sacrificed a lot of my income, a lot of my streaming hours just to be able to help DSI if there's something important. And I would not play other games because I wanted to play DU and try to make DSI better, but nothing worked out in the end. I'm never gonna commit to something as silly as this ever again in my life. Ikari, thank you for your prime. This was a big mistake. This was a big mistake for my career, because even when I put my career on the side and worked only for the good of DSI, which was the only thing that I was doing in Dual Universe, I still found so much disrespect and so much hate. It's just sad. It's just really sad that people like this exist and that they were in my org. And hopefully that's not the case in every org, because that would make me really sad, because no one's gonna succeed long term. And we might join Boo at some point. We might join the Empire. Who knows? But right now we're not here to join anyone. We're not here to tell DSI secrets around, because if I wanted to, I could spend 24 hours talking about everything that I know, but I'm never gonna do that. I'm just forgetting the stuff that I know right now, because it's not in my business anymore. It's not in my business, and it's not of anyone else's business. But if someone else shares something from the people that have left, it has nothing to do with Tony and me, and we're not intentionally leaking info through them to say we're not responsible. People have their own eyes, they have their own brains. If they say something that they get to know, don't trace it back to me. Don't trace it back to Tony. We just want to play the game. Let us be, all right? Let us be. We don't want to hear about DSI anymore. This is why we did this stream. This is why we did this AMA session and the whole story. We've been talking for 2 hours straight. Okay? Just don't bother us. Someone asked about, what if DSI makes a statement? Are you going to respond to it? If it's like full of lies, then I might respond to it. But by default, I'm probably not going to say anything, because I don't care. They're irrelevant to me. They're irrelevant. And so is every other org. Don't get me wrong. Because for now, we just want to play a game. Maybe at some point, it becomes a oh my god, Lenver, 10 gifted subs again. What a legend. That's a true supporter. In-game, out of the game. Thank you so much, Lenver. Really appreciate it. Damn, man. So many of our enemies getting the subs.
Yeah, and the cool thing about all this is that, even though there was so much drama in DSI, and of course now, the friendships that we've made, who knows, we might not know each other in a year, but that's something I'm really happy with, no matter how everything plays out. And some of us kind of live near each other, so we might end up seeing each other in real life, so that's cool. So
yeah, there's a lot of good that came out of this. Unfortunately, it had to come at a price of this much stress and this much betrayal and disrespect, and all that, but at the end of the day, if DSI is an org that is worth joining, then they're gonna show up and rebuild, and losing 10 members if they're a 550 member org shouldn't be a big problem, right?
Hello, my
It
friend.
shouldn't be a big problem, man. That's only a small percentage. I can't do math, but it's a very small percentage. But if it doesn't recover, then, well, we'll see. We'll see. Erdoff will take through 16 months. But if you ask me, should I join DSI anyway? I'm going to say straight up no, because why would I tell you to join it? I don't think it's a good place for you long term. Because I don't see any value in it anymore. But it's up to you.
Yeah, a lot of people who are not really contributing much, and I'm not trying to bash those people. That's totally fine. But the people who like weren't really involved in like leadership or anything, or
Clubbers,
contributions
legends,
or anything like that,
4 gifted
they
subs.
joined for the the tag. Or not necessarily that they joined for that, but they stay for like the tag and the ascendancy, and they'll be protected and that space. And maybe if not now all the time, maybe later. And hey, that's maybe a good reason to.
Yeah,
be in an org
they
like
are the biggest and the strongest alliance. There's no doubt about it. Like the whole alliance ascendancy is the strongest thing in this game, and they're gonna be getting most of their like objectives done. Whatever they set the objective, they're gonna probably get it done. No one's gonna be able to beat them. But maybe at some point later, if someone shows up from all these outcasts not satisfied with the alliance, maybe some other alliance pops up. But for now, being an ascendancy, if you want to be safe in space, is a good thing, because most of the ships in space are ascendancy. There's only a few pirates that dare interrupt certain activities that ascendancy does, and even when they do, they typically get hunt down. I'm necessarily saying with success, but there's a chance that someone tries to counter that and tries to get them. So being in an ascendancy in general is good for a lot of players that want to have peace. But that again, like you said, it becomes a problem for some of these orgs where you have a lot of people that are there just for the tag, just to put AC in front, and they can claim that they are from the alliance.
Yep.
And
yeah, and that's a valid reason to join. Just you're definitely not going to get some of the stuff you'd get with playing in a more tight knit group, And this game, as it sits right now, it's hard to play by yourself, but you don't really need more than like 5-10 guys.
yeah, because if you look at the boo ship, that big boo ship had 5 mandatory spots. Infidel gifted sub to Vadar. Thank you so much. They had 7 people on the ship total. We had more people in our ships. So you can actually fly a really big ship with just a few people. You don't need a gigantic group. You just need a very active group. The more people you have, the more time you waste on organizing them. And that becomes a problem in big orgs. So I think there's a lot of small orgs in DU that run a lot of stuff. They run the economy, they run this and that. The pirate groups, probably very effective. They're very small.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, so the Thoramine.
The Thoramine?
Everybody wants to hear about the Thoramine.
Who?
I mean, I don't know anything about it.
We don't have info on that, guys. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a mysterious substance that may or may not exist.
Yeah, we don't have any info to share on that, and even if we had it, we wouldn't share with you. So. all that meme server is just full of Thoramine memes. Like, who cares about that in this case? Like, how did it even come connected with all of this? So,
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with it later and the drama that goes on with it once it like actually has a use, and then people will be trying to get their hands on it. But right now, it's just a funny little side thing.
Yeah. That is true. Oh, there we go. But, yeah, there's... Oh, you were watching the meme server? for the comments?
Oh yeah, some of them.
Oh my god, man! They can come to chat, and if they're not banned in chat, then they can ask questions. I'm not taking questions from the meme server, dude.
I gotta lighten it up a little bit.
But yeah, we didn't steal anything that we thought wasn't ours in the first place. As we definitely, yeah. Let's just wrap it up there when it comes to that topic.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
You know.
This isn't even important for people outside of DSI. Because it's not like we're not gonna go out and share all the secrets and similar. It is what it is. We might do some fun events in the future. You know, maybe we build a gigantic ship and we need some gunners, and you know, maybe there's room for more people in some events. But for now, I'm not gonna be joining any major org. I'm not gonna be, just so they stop talking to me like sweet talking. Oh, you great job. Like, get the hell out of here, man. I don't know what you're trying to do. They don't even know how much stuff we have, Tony. Maybe it's for the best, as in like how much certain things are worth, the IP behind certain things that we own and we know. But that's maybe best kept private. So we'll see what we do. But we just want to join the game, guys. That's it.
Yeah, just have some fun, make some things.
Yeah.
Play with cool people. That's all it's really about.
Someone asking if we can move the factory. We cannot move the factory. It's way too big. But there's no way to move it, Vadar. You can only move up to... Yeah?
Maybe once they come out with bigger containers,
yeah,
then we could, but...
Well, for now, our factory's on Mattis, and we're good.
Yeah. It's a lag fest, too. Like,
Tala, 1,000 bits, thank you so much. Señorita.
Because, yeah, it's almost like a troll. Like, you put that somewhere, and it's just like, oh, well, Rip playing the game over here.
But yeah. Yeah, Dark says hello in game. He saluted. Yeah. Well, it's just bad that it had to turn out this way. But it is what it is. We did what we did. We're not ashamed of it. We don't find ourselves to be thieves. A lot of people will. That's their problem. They have this VOD to watch. If they want to know more of the story, they can watch this VOD. If they did just want to call us thieves, they can do that. Don't think I'm gonna take you seriously ever if you call us something but didn't want to watch this VOD. So yeah. Don't believe every lie you hear, guys. This is just our side of the story. Maybe all of this is false, but don't have an opinion if you think that all you heard was probably lies. You cannot base your opinion off of that. Then just shut up. Then don't say anything. It makes you look stupid. So if you want to consider both sides, consider the facts that were laid out. Oh, that's it then. We can wrap this up. Yeah, you cannot even deploy the blueprint. There's no way of deploying the blueprint that big. PUBG. We might do PUBG by the end of the week. Any other questions, guys, for Tony, so we can let him go? Let him go back in his hole.
Yeah. I gotta do requisitions.
Yeah, do some requisitions, man. You're having withdrawals, I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, my plan is to start playing a lot less DU and start playing other games, and we'll see how all that... is this game worth $7 a month? Yeah. You would agree, Tony, right?
Yeah, I think when it comes to is a game worth a certain amount, or anything worth a certain amount, you have to kind of quantify what you get out of it, and what how many hours of enjoyment that gets you, and for me, oh yeah, for sure. But if you play it like once a month, You know, for an hour, you're paying $7 for an hour. I mean, that still might be worth it depending on the person. But that's kind of the question you have to ask yourself, and you can make your decision on that.
Yeah. Did I know Tony before this game? No, but I'm glad I met him in this game. He's a great guy and really capable too. You know, I met so many people. I didn't know Leniver before this. You know, he was just another guy in the chat, but now I got to know Leniver. He's a really, really genuine guy. And maybe I'm gonna ask him if anyone. Oh, they're not here. Leniver or Johnny or whoever, if there's something you want to say to the stream and to the guys from DSI or whatever, feel free to let me know and I'll drag you in. You know where we are. Just for some last words or something that was missed out and you want to fill in, if anyone is watching. Thanks a lot for all the time you spent to tell our view of the story. Yeah, no, that's okay. All right, I mean, I guess we've covered most of it. I was afraid we're gonna leave some stuff out, and then the context is wrong. Yeah. But guys, if you want to check anything when it comes to the PvP fights, in particular, you have 2 VODs, 5 hour, 10 hour from the last 2 days. Go and watch those if there's any doubts on what happened, because there's actual video proof. There's no comms. There's no one guy's screaming at another guy, at a new recruit, saying F you during an op, in the middle of an op. But there is stuff that is concerning me and what I was saying, and it's all there. There's no way you can miss certain things if you watch that.
Yeah. Looks like Swiggy wants in. He's not in the. I don't think he's in this Discord though.
All right, let's go to the other one then.
Okay.
Hey, Swiggy.
Hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to say it was very unfortunate. I felt that I had to leave as well after you guys had gone, but I don't really have any malintent against anybody. It just was looking like I was feeling pretty used over there. That was all.
Yeah. I mean, we all were feeling used, and that's one of the reasons why we left. Unfortunately, there was more to it, but yeah. And, them saying that I was the slave driver and everyone was a slave laborer, I'm curious to why all the slaves left with me then. That's, were you ever considering yourself a slave in DSI?
I never. Personally, I never. And all we have built is because of the group. And
this is
because
Leniver,
we were
guys.
all together to build it. And yes, other people in DSI have helped.
Obelix, I will be.
Yes, they have helped what they could, but the main thing has been built
Blanark,
by ourselves.
you will be able to buy Tony ship.
And we have built because we wanted to make DSI bigger. That's the first point. We wanted to make DSI strong and bigger.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to let us make DSI bigger and stronger. So we leave.
Yeah. Well, they just have to know that we have the same point of view and same stance when it comes to leaving, and same reasons behind it. Especially, once you find out how some people were treated, you didn't even know before, and a lot of DSI members don't even know now. And
and I have personally nothing against anyone in DSI. It doesn't really matter. It's a game at the end, but just stop with all this lie and shit talking about people. It doesn't. What for? What you try to achieve to do? Just a waste of time, of energy, time, and let's just play and enjoy the game. It's a nice game. Let's enjoy the game. And
it's a very creative game. It's a very cutting edge game. And then having to stress about everything every day is just too much. That's not how you play a game like this. You need to enjoy it fully. A lot of people enjoy it fully because they don't play with idiots. They choose who they play with.
Well, the thing with me was it was was less about you guys, like, you know, certain people, like being, you know, slave drivers or anything like that. It was more about me feeling that,
Yeah,
you know,
Vadar,
seeing
exactly. It was the
some
same
things
guy again.
unfold over time, and then
You're right.
realizing that,
I know what you're talking
you
about.
know, some people didn't have intent or loyalty towards anyone in particular. It was just more they wanted, you know, everything for themselves. And I start seeing things, you know, some people appear.
Did Swiggy just crash?
It seems so.
Yeah.
He was silenced by the powers that be.
Stop saying the truth.
Oh no!
Sorry.
You got disconnected, Swiggy, mid-sentence or something.
Can you hear me now?
Sort of.
Yep.
Yeah. One, two.
Check.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, whatever it was. All right. Well, I guess I just want to wrap it up. This is the last time I'm going to be discussing this on stream because I don't want to have anything with this sort going on. If someone comes in with some nonsense, I'm just going to straight up ban him. I don't play this game to make billions of dollars off of streaming it. I stream it because I like it. And I'm going to start enjoying the game to its fullest and not be just used like I was and have to spend that much time because no one else wants to do it. But, you know, they come in and say, this needs to be done. That was like a meme at some point. This needs to be done. But they don't pick out who's going to do it. It just needs to be done. And someone has to do it because a lot of people are very unhappy. Same thing goes with the requisition system. It took us so long to get it out. We were late a few times with deadlines on requisition systems. You know, people contribute, they want to get stuff back, but they can't. There's no system to get anything back from. And we finally had to get it. And then for the most part, it was Tony and me doing requisitions and two other guys that weren't doing it that much or at all. If it required them more than a few minutes of their time, they just wouldn't do something. And, you know, that's things that other people don't know because if you order something, you go to your mailbox and it's there, you don't really question who got it there. You just want to get in, that's it. But there's so much stuff that happens in the back. Someone's curious about the factory. Here, I'm going to show the factory again real quick. This is our tier 4, tier 5 floor, which is not done, but everything else is being put. Oh my god. Why is this so big, Tony? We gotta... Did you notice that these work? What the hell? They go through the gap. I just noticed now.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's different.
yeah.
It's different on that floor. Yeah. I should probably go into build mode. But yeah, the factory is gigantic, and we're making everything. I guess what we're most proud of is this assembly floor. It's so good with the reverse transference now. Coming from the ceiling, really fills out what we need it to. Are we gonna continue to PvP? Yes. If it means we get shot out of space every time we appear there, so be it. If we build an L-core destroyer and we get destroyed in 5 minutes, so be it. We'll build another one. We don't go around just like trash talking people every second that we can in PvP because we don't care. Like, we play this for fun. If for us the fun is to lose a ship and you come talking about us like we did I don't know what, we don't care. Just go away. We'll lose another one if we have to. People don't get it. People trying to be competitive, but they're terrible at the game and they're not competitive at all. We're done working with people like that. Yeah. Exactly, Leonard. Do you run on Windows 7? I don't know about it. But again, guys, I'll take my leave from Discord and just wrap up the stream. But thank you so much for participating, especially you, Tony.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
both of you.
problem.
I'll catch you guys tomorrow or something.
Yep.
Great.
Anyways, stream, thank you so much for the support, for all the longtime viewers, for new viewers subbing. I'll be doing a lot more content. It's gonna be, I'm gonna have a lot more time to do whatever the hell I want, and I didn't want it that way, but it is what it is. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to leave DSI. I wouldn't have committed 3 months if I just wanted to leave, because I could have built this factory myself, and I already did twice. So there's no point in me trying to steal stuff. And if I had the opportunity to steal stuff, well, why didn't I steal it then? Was I afraid I was gonna get even more vendetta from DSI? No, I just didn't steal it because I'm not a thief. I only took what was ours from this group of players that left. So yeah, thank you so much for all the subs. Thank you for all the support. You know, people dropping in, Tala and others. Appreciate it. I have to go now because I have a meeting very soon. But we'll play some new games. Super tired, guys. I was helping with construction yesterday all day. That's why I didn't stream. I'm just falling apart. I need a break. I need a break from all the stress. It's been too much. I'm done. I'm done with the stress about games. I've never stressed about games before, and this is way too much. And finally, we can proceed, play other games. You guys also try to recommend what we should play. And I'll see you all maybe tomorrow if I feel better. Take care.